Coming to the ring right now, ladies and gentlemen, out of Mound, Minnesota, at 218 pounds, he is the great Greg Gagne.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, but I'm not there today. I am on OneTrueSportTV.com and FourHorsemenNetwork.com. I'm happy to be here with Magnum TA, the boss, and guess who's back? It's Mr. Greg Gagne after a few weeks. Welcome back, Greg.
Check is back.
How are you? Good to see you again, Greg.
Good to be back.
Yeah, heck
I
yeah.
had a very interesting experience with my kids at a trip to Hawaii. You know, Laura and I were supposed to go on a cruise in February.
Okay.
And the kids said, that's going to be too hard on you, all the walking and all that stuff you have to do. So we had to cancel it.
Oh, no.
Now, I paid for the rooms in Hawaii, or my wife had left some money. We used that for the kids' airfare.
Mm-hmm.
There was 11 of us. Three rooms we had to get. I paid for those. So now they want to go on a catamaran. It's 1.3 miles from the hotel.
Okay.
They said, well, we just walk over there. I said, you guys, my daughter says, I'll take you in the cab. So we take the cab, go on it was a great deal, snorkeling, and we had a really good time.
Nice.
Get out. Okay, let's walk back. I dragged my ass back there. They were like 80 yards, 100 yards ahead of me. Didn't wait for old dad. Yeah. And then walking the beach. My back is killing me now.
I bet.
But otherwise, we had a good time.
So you haven't been doing any breakdancing since you were?
I haven't. Oh no.
None of that. Dang it.
I haven't done shit.
Oh man. Magnum, how are you doing?
I am doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have.
Now wait a minute. You didn't say that before you came on.
Yeah, I would still be there waiting for that camp because I would not have followed him.
That's it. Me too.
Oh man.
Well, we're live here today on OneTrueSportTV.com and FourHorsemenNetwork.com. If you're tuning in right now, be sure to give us a like, or if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and give us some support. Be sure to share us out there too if you're able to. We'll give some shout outs to some folks in the chat here. Triple E, CB, the regular, ATF Media, Logan's in the area, Charlie, the Elusive Man. Ooh, that's an interesting name. But if you guys have any questions, be sure to chime in. It always helps to use the super chat. But if you have any questions, be sure to use it here, and we'll address them there near the end of the show. We got some good ground to cover though. I guess, though, before we get to that, me and Magnum got to talk a little bit about this last week, and we wanted to get your thoughts, Greg, because you were mentioned on WWE Raw in the main event segment between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Cody Rhodes gave you a shout-out saying that him and Punk were the ones that would go up to you and learn some drop kicks and head scissor takedowns. And so but he was sure to tip the cap to you. Yeah. Did you get the
Cody a little text message and thanked him for the recognition?
That's awesome.
So I was working with OVW at the time, working with the WWE, and they sent me down there to help Al Snow and Danny Davis were doing the training. And so those two were, to me, the two that were going to be the next ones moving up. And we worked a lot together on technique, holds, counter holds, drop kicks, head scissors, and it was very nice of him to acknowledge that. I did leave him a voicemail, but I haven't heard back from him. But, it was very kind of him to do that. We put in a lot of time together.
That's awesome. Yeah. It was pretty neat to hear that. It popped me pretty good when I heard it. And I think it speaks to the impact that you left on him and CM Punk as well. So pretty good.
Yeah, that's, it's a good feeling. And Tiffany, and there's a few others that I've got two other ones that I've sent to them, but they had one day of tryout and then a hurricane hit down in Florida. Yeah. And these two guys are as good as a lot of the people they got on board. I wish they would give them a chance.
Yeah. Hopefully.
DDX and Rampage Savage.
Ooh, yes. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to look them up, whether it's on socials or Google or anything like that. Maybe they'll get WEID'd at some point. Well, yeah, fingers crossed. Something cool.
TA, how you doing there, buddy?
I'm ready. I've been watching wrestling all weekend, and I thought I actually texted with Cody myself because that ladder match that he had was one of the most brutal, well thought out storytelling gimmick matches I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I mean they had everybody hooked into that thing, hook, line, and sinker. And the way they concluded it could not have been any better in my book.
Yeah, that was such a fun match, and it started off in the crowd and everything like that. But then once they got to the ring and everything, the elements that they used with the ladder and just the finish was so unique and devastating looking. Like these. They took
it was decapitated in that, that thing turned upside down. Alabama slam through the ladder, and
right.
I thought he broke his neck.
Yeah, I mean he sold it like $1 million. And again, I haven't seen anything that pantomimed it all out the way they did like that. And I mean, it was very old schoolish techniques and things that they did. That were
and it really worked for him.
Yeah, it did. I mean, and that could have just really been a really cheesy kind of match very easily with so many ladders, so much furniture, and everything. But it just built and built and built, and Kevin Owens is just amazing. I mean, you got to have the right partner to dance with, and Cody couldn't have had a better one. It was really good.
I think we could talk about this one all night because it was spectacular.
It really was.
TA called me, so I taped it. So I sat down the other night and I went through it, and TA told me, you got to see this ladder match. And I'm waiting. All these matches are going by, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Then the girls' battle royal, and then a four-way came on. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, let's see, LA Knight, and
you watch one from last year?
Yes.
Yo.
And I'm thinking, Jesus, Reigns still the champion. What did I miss?
What's going on?
So then I get out. Oh shit! So then I start watching the other one, and now it's getting late. And I get halfway through it, shut it off, get back on the next day. Think I can pick it up? All of a sudden, I'm watching a different one. I said, when's that damn ladder match coming up?
What's going on here?
But I finally got it. And I'll tell you what, the whole evening was spectacular. And that match, honest to God, those two guys have beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I thought he broke his neck, that bump he took at the end on the ladder.
Yeah. Man, what a unique spot too. And the neat thing is I don't know if this was Cody's intent, but that Alabama slam, if you guys remember, when he went up to the main roster or onto Raw, he first tagged with Bob Holly, Hardcore Holly. And that was Bob Holly's finishing move, was the Alabama slam. So I don't know if he's making reference to that, but either way, it was an amazing spot. And
That's what it was.
Yeah. So
they had to be so beat up when they got back. The bumps they were taking on those ladders.
Yeah.
TA, did you ever do a ladder match?
No.
Me either.
No. I've had a couple of matches with some ladders, but they weren't televised.
I've taken some bumps off of them too.
That's what I'm saying. I've had some ladder matches, but they weren't for pay-per-view.
What do you think was the most maybe stressful or hard match that you're in?
That's a good question.
I can't remember something being stressful.
Yeah.
No, I really can't, because all the guys that I was very fortunate to be in the ring with were so good.
Yeah.
That it wasn't like it was like pulling teeth. and the fans were so electric. They were so into it. You couldn't help but feed off their energy. So, I mean,
Okay, what was the most physical one then you're in?
Probably Tully. Tully and I beat each other to flipping death. I mean, literally, I mean, he was about 20 pounds smaller than me, but I mean, when he would come after you, he gave you everything he had, like fighting a tiger. And I mean, he just kept coming and coming and coming. Even if he was selling, he was coming, and he was feeding you. So it was just, you know, I mean, I've said it on several occasions. I had to slow my game down for everybody after Tully, because I had been 8 months with him and being accustomed to going that pace and the way he worked, and he was so just like a machine that I had to turn the knob down a good 30% to work with anybody else.
Here's a technical kind of question, Magnum. Since you're bigger than Tully, and Tully is such a heel, how do you, as a baby face, being bigger, accommodate for a smaller guy that's being a heel, or how does that work with
Well, see, it's the viciousness, because the heel gets the advantage through, by hook or crook, however they can get it. And once they get that mechanical advantage by, having done something heelish to do it, and they continue that, just dogged attack on you, you're fighting back the whole time. And
yeah.
you may be fighting back and getting ready to overcome, and then they do something else. They give you the low blow, or they, referee, doesn't see it. He runs you into the steel posts on the outside, or, they always have a tactic to regain that advantage by healing and by doing something to negate, your superiority in whatever that might be, whether it's physically or your wrestling ability or whatever. But that was always the psychology that was, beaten into me and schooled me from Eddie Graham all the way back. If a heel could out wrestle me or just out manhandle me, then and there was no way to scientifically overcome, what he was able to do. There's really no reason for him to be a heel, other than he was just tougher than everybody. It had to be, a heel wasn't going to beat me toe to toe or straight up wrestling. Just was not going to happen in any of my matches. I know that there's, but even like a Ricky Morton was a guy with great size advantage, but Ricky would always have a technique, a way of maneuvering, a way of doing something just like Rey Mysterio to overcome size and strength. So he still had a superiority in his technique and his ability, which again would cause the heel frustration and lead to them, doing something heelish. So Tully was just vicious, and when you had to turn it on, change gears, and again, whether he was getting heat on you or whether you were shining when he was bumping for you, he was moving so fast, doing so much, and coming back for you to do something else, that it was just the most physically demanding, matches I ever had.
Yeah, man. I know those are some classics we gotta go back and tune into. I gotta dive deep into the NWA stuff and check all that stuff out and kind of get more acclimated with that stuff. Marcus, my brother's getting more in tune with it because of the shows he does with Jake and Jim Duggan and stuff. But I gotta get more aligned with it. So
I better get in line with the AWA stuff there.
I know that too. I know, right? Oh, Greg, that's what I wanted to talk about too. I don't know. So who passed away a couple weeks ago was Colonel De Beers. Yeah, wanted to get your thoughts about him and that, working with him and anything like that.
Well, he was great in the ring. He was slow and methodical. Everything that he did meant something. Great interviewer. He came in to us and developed that character that he portrayed of Colonel Parker, and he just did a phenomenal job in it. And a great interview. And then, he could back it up in the ring. And he was very slow, methodical with what he did. But, back in that time, that's what worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a really great guy, great individual.
Yeah, yeah. So rest in peace to him. Definitely wanted to get your thoughts when I heard about that, and yeah, not familiar with his work as too much, but I remember seeing like the clips of him on ESPN and things like that as well when it was all airing on there. So
before he went and had the Colonel De Beers run there, I was with him in Florida.
Oh, really?
And that's where he developed a lot of that stylization that he took to the AWA, because he really patterned a lot of what he did after a style like Johnny Valentine. And I remember Eddie talking to me about it when watching matches, because he would come down that aisle and carry himself a certain way, really just milk the people to, just getting in the ring. I mean, he had heat, but he had heat before the bell had ever rung, and he could be working with a green hand. It didn't matter. He had people, hating him before he ever even did anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a very scientific in terms of his thought process and the methods and the techniques that he used. They were fantastic.
Man, that's crazy. So like, it's so neat too, because like you mentioned, he was like kind of adapting a style like Johnny Valentine. But then like Tessa, when I ever to her, she said one of her favorite heels to watch is Johnny Valentine. And then I've also heard that from Ricky Starks, like other talents too. So it's neat to see somebody from way back, like of yesteryear, still having that influence on people. And
nothing's, wrestling's changed with, the pace of the matches, but the philosophy of it is still basically the same. I watched SmackDown. Was it SmackDown the other night with the CM Punk and Zayn?
Oh, last night that was Raw.
Yeah, Raw.
Yeah,
and God, they had a hell of a match. Old school, took their time. Everything they did meant something, and the people really got into it. Did you happen to see that one?
Oh yeah. Did you see it, Magnum?
No, I saw the promo leading up to, and then I have my 5:30 wake up call.
Yeah.
So it was something I can go back and watch. But I knew it would be good. Everything CM Punk has done since coming back to the WWE is almost a comedy of where he was, where he's come back. He's going out there putting on clinics, and you could have given those folks a Ferrari and they'd have gone out and run into a telephone pole. I mean, they just didn't have a clue, what they had to work with there.
Right.
So yeah, he's just continually, cementing his place in the annals of wrestling history, and putting a big exclamation point to folks that are clueless.
Yeah, like that's the thing too, is like he's like, you think of all the stuff he's been, and he's had to walk away and get away from the business, and then to go into AEW and kind of get a little bit of a resurgence of passion for it, and then for it to kind of stifle there, obviously, with what happened. But then it kind of like the payoff comes later on with WWE, and it's like, it's good to see, because it's like, yeah, he's somebody that was a star. Fans wanted him back in WWE, and here he is, and he's pictured in a prominent role and like a main event star that naturally draws people in. Like, his stuff is tuning stuff still, and like they had that at AEW with him, and it's a shame that they just squandered it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you just watch that match with him and Sammy, it's really a lot of old school in it, and they really told the story, and the people really got on the edge of their seats, really had them.
Yeah.
And the end of it was spectacular.
100%. Yeah, Magnum, you definitely got to go watch it, because I was the same way, Magnum. Last night, I went to bed early. That was the only match I still had to watch, and I tuned in like before I did my show this morning, and I was just like taken aback at how well thought out that all was.
Well, what was neat is the people didn't know who to cheer for.
No, they didn't.
The one time they were with CM Punk, the next then they were with Sammy, and they really had him going. It was really well done.
Yeah, and CM Punk's like talking trash a little bit to Sammy and pointing up at the WrestleMania sign.
And they got mad at him. Then they got mad at Sammy a little later.
Yeah,
They
it was
did a great
really
job.
well done storytelling.
Yeah.
And so now CM Punk's part of the Elimination Chamber, and now John Cena is a part of the Elimination Chamber. So they're setting up.
Well, then let's go back and start at the beginning of the Women's Rumble.
Yes, let's do that. Mm-hmm.
So, did you see that, Greg?
Yes, I did.
So Bianca Belair goes out there and puts on a clinic. First off, that spot with the not one, not two, not three, but 4 backflips. I mean, to be able to showcase your athleticism that well with that many people is, there's just not usually enough real estate to be able to do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that spot was just, was phenomenal. But the thing that just blows my mind, when Jordan Grace came out, she got the pop I mean, she got the big star treatment when she came out.
Yeah.
And the spot she did with Piper, where she picked her up on her shoulders and did that deal and almost bounced off of her when she was like that. That was one of the big moments of the whole stinking show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big takeaway. Yeah, absolutely.
Huge. So I mean, I hope. And I still stick to what I said, that she has set a level. She set a bar for herself that I hope that she can maintain, because she has gone in there in tip-top shape.
Yes.
And looking, arguably, the best maybe she's ever looked in her entire career.
Right.
And that is brutal. Greg, I don't know if you followed, her career.
Yeah.
But she was a power lifter and a real big, heavy-set girl. And I guess she's probably a good, what would you say, 60, 70 pounds lighter, Dominic?
Yeah. Oh, at least. Yeah, probably.
Maybe even
Wasn't she
more.
a shot putter?
She was a power lifter.
Power lifter.
Power lifter? I thought she was in track too and did the shot.
Maybe.
No?
Let me take a look.
No. She might have thrown, she probably could have thrown a shot put, but she was not in track.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that to say is she has gotten over and exploded on the scene looking like, the best you could ever want to look. And people that try to maintain that level of look 12 months out of the year, that's a burden.
Yeah.
That is not an easy task. No, it's not an easy task for guys. You go back in the day when when the guys were all on gear and the Monday Night Wars and off cycle was when you were only taking a CC a deck a week. That was an off cycle. They never went off.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so that's just not a real easy lane to stay in. I wish her lots of success and hope she stays healthy and finds a way to maneuver, because she looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, all the girls, I thought, did a terrific job in that battle royal. I mean, the 30 of them. I mean, there wasn't anybody that missed in there. And then they brought out, Trish Stratus and Bella.
Nikki Bella,
and brought in some other new gals.
And then that Flair chick, she showed.
Yeah.
Did you see the length that they ran to the ring?
Oh yeah, they've been doing that
they
for a couple of years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Charlotte, but everybody else sprinted. And I thought, man, they're making that big run, and then they're going in there.
And
boom,
they're going
boom,
in there.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, you do a 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
Then
I think it was more than Jesus. They came around that corner and then choom.
Yeah.
And then the performance in the ring with the girls, they were absolutely phenomenal. Best I've ever seen.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at
both battle royals were. The men's too. The men's too was.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But
okay, I'll back up.
For Jordan's, I'm looking up her powerlifting records. Look at this. So she was the current WNPF Georgia State National record holder in the squat at 320 pounds. Jeez. Her bench press was at 210 pounds, and her deadlift was at 355 pounds in the 165-pound weight class.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah. I mean, that's just crazy.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, she's a beast. She's an athlete. And she got star power. And my hat's off to her because I saw her. They had the first All In show in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, Tucker and I sat next to her at the signing table, and I never met her, didn't know who she was from Adam's House Cat, but her and Tessa had gotten to be friends, so I eventually saw her more and more.
Yeah.
But it's just really cool to see somebody that made that just crazy difference in their appearance through hard work and diet. Man,
Oh
that's
my gosh.
just insane.
Yeah. If I ever get a chance to
All the
interview her,
girls
I'll
are-
ask her about trying to maintain something like that and how much work that comes into
Well,
it.
they got to work hard.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they really do. I mean, God, they were in shape. There was some of the traps on those girls were going, Jesus.
Well, somebody who
And the
stood out
arms, shoulders, legs, God, they're all built well.
somebody who stood out too, Greg and Magnum, was Roxanne Perez in that match. She was with the NXT girl, and she actually had, I heard on Raw that she held the longest reign in the Rumble, like for the women.
She put a lot of time in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the girl that came from CMLL, what's her name?
Yeah.
Stephanie McCoy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's got a presence in that
Mhm.
ring. Her work is crisp and deliberate, and she's going to make a lot of noise too.
And yeah, Tessa was talking about how she worked with her in CMNL too, and how great that.
I watched them on some of those shows because I used to subscribe to their deal for YouTube.
Yeah.
So I could see Tessa on Friday nights, and those two tore it up. So it's cool. It's cool to see all this stuff interweaved and intertwining, and the lines blurring, and you don't know who could be where. Who's going to pop up in this show or that show.
Yeah, I love it. It's great stuff. It's neat too. Even today, I was like I was on YouTube and I saw that WWE had a compilation of the Hardy Boys, and they were watching their matches back or something like that. And like they're not signed to WWE right now; they're in TNA, but they were doing this WWE event for them, and it's just like kind of neat to see that crossing through. And think of the possibilities coming through. They're the tag team champs in TNA. Could they come over? It's a lot of neat elements coming into play.
It reminds me of pro baseball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What WWE is doing, by bringing all these other companies on board with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like they're minor leagues. They're, in baseball, you got the A, AA, AAA, and they bring them up that way. And finally somebody gets recognized, they bring them up and they're a star.
Yeah.
Well, it's even greater than that. And from a practicality standpoint, I agree with you 100%. But perception wise, they're not making it like a minor league.
No, they're
putting it like a sister company. And I mean, they got Joe Henry coming out with their world heavyweight title around his waist in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And it is the rub is definitely an elevation for the TNA branding, 1,000%. But they're painting that picture like it's just like Charlotte saying, "Hey, I'm going to go talk to the NXT champ too. I'm not just looking at you and you. I got my pick of the crop here, and whoever inspires me to feel like that's where the magic is what I'm going to do." And and so they do. They got all this crazy different possibilities all the way across the board.
Yeah.
And you got JBL jumping in over there, making all kinds of noise and interference at TNA, and interfering in matches, and Mark Henry doing pre-shows for them and things. They have really just busted down doors and walls and things that were obviously all imaginary. But I think TNA really has got a chance to reinvent themselves if they, if they can continue to bring things up and continue, get where they can do more live shows than just, once every 4 or 5 weeks. If they can do a TV like they did the live TV show in San Antonio, but they always gather and tape 3, 4, 5 weeks of stuff and then air that over time. But the next step up to me in their game is they may need to start doing more live things because people like that because they
Yeah.
know it's spontaneous and you're not going to be able to have a spoiler alert because nobody's seen it. So it's fresher.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's
I want to talk about Charlotte Flair.
yeah, let's because she's
Rick is a good friend, and I knew Charlotte when she was a little girl. But
yeah.
the entrance she made and the people, the way they responded was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And everything she did in the ring was great. But did you see her then on SmackDown?
Yeah, on Raw. That's
Raw, I'm sorry, Raw. And
Mm-hmm.
how the people responded to her when she came out.
Right.
It booed the heck out of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would amazed me.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to do an interview sincere, and they got on her, and she kind of let them have it.
She did.
Well, she spun it.
Uh-huh.
She leaned into it. She
did.
She improvised, which she said she wanted to be edgier when she came back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what she wanted to do. I have a feeling that the creative folks, want the babyface story, but to me, she's got to be the edgiest one. She's got more world titles than anybody in the roster, and the way with the personalities of the other girls, I think it just plays better to her having that attitude to go, and because Rhea Ripley is really more of a babyface now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Rhea's going to be a babyface, Charlotte doesn't need to be a babyface too.
No.
It doesn't play well together. But boy, she sure put the line she had on Rhea about her. Well, obviously you've kind of jumped the gun and shown your immaturity yet again. By assuming what my play is going to be and what I'm going to do, and it was cute how she reminded her, well, yeah, you did beat me last time, but I beat you the time before that. So
it was great.
Greg, what do you hope happens? Do you hope Charlotte goes after Tiffany? Do you hope that she goes after Rhea? Or what?
I was talking to Tiffany one day, or sent her a text message.
Mm-hmm.
Told her what a great job she did. She got back to me and thanked me, and all that. But and the last thing I said to her was, "Watch out for Charlotte." I don't know if I don't know. I know she brought up her name, but I don't think she'll go there.
You don't think so?
I don't.
So
maybe they would because of them. I mean, they're both gymnasts.
Yeah.
And that gymnastic background. I mean, their match would probably be phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. But would they take it off of Tiffany that soon?
I don't think so. I think Tiffany would retain if I had to guess. But you could tell a story even if she did get it taken off of her from Charlotte.
Yeah. What do you think, TA?
Yeah, what do you think, TA?
I don't think they're going to take it off Rhea, and she's definitely going to come out with a title.
Yeah.
So I think
she go after Tiffany.
I think she goes after Tiffany. They take the title, they work an angle, they do something to make it heated and take it to another level. Because honestly, I mean, again, I see the heel Charlotte. I see Tiffany, the baby face.
Yeah.
Total 100% baby face. So I can
not if you work with her, she's not.
Try
to train her once.
Well, you can say that about a lot of baby faces, but but if you look at the way she comes across in the ring, what she does, and everything else, and taking out Nia Jax, she took out the biggest heel on the roster.
Jesus.
So it would be. I mean, they could have a long. They could. It's always better in the chase. I mean, Tiffany is fantastic, but she's so young, and it's hard to maintain, that aura, being the babyface with the belt. Cody's been able to do it, but he's proven himself, the seasoned pro that he is, and has become the face of the company. But I don't see him taking it off Rhea. That's the only reason I say it. I just
who took Nia out at the end?
Oh,
all the girls took Nia. You talking about in the battle royal?
In the Rumble?
Yeah, well, no, she'd taken about 16 of them out.
Didn't Charlotte dump her? I think Charlotte
did. And here's what I'm thinking. She goes for Tiffany, and Nia Jax gets involved.
Well, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter who gets involved. She's going to walk out with the belt. She can wrestle.
And I think then Tiffany keeps the belt.
Rouge, she's going to come home with the belt.
Here's my early theory. Charlotte will challenge Tiffany. We'll get that match at WrestleMania. And then Magnum, I believe, didn't you say last week that you made a quick prediction of Bianca winning the Rumble? Was that who you made the bet on? I can't remember if it was her or not.
No, I said Charlotte.
You did say Charlotte? Okay.
Pretty sure I said Charlotte. Yeah, because I thought it was going to be Charlotte and John Cena, so they swerved me off.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was Charlotte and Punk. Those were my two. But then, so I could maybe envision Bianca going after Rhea if she wins the Elimination Chamber, because they have a history together too in NXT, and I think they've been teasing a match for quite a while. So that would be an interesting one too that you could kind of do.
So you didn't even ask me who I picked. I picked Charlotte.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jay.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Did you pick Jay? How about that? You weren't even here though, Greg.
No, I wasn't there, but I picked him. I picked him in Hawaii.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So I was surprised. Like I said, I thought it was going to be Punk. I thought since Jay just fought Gunther that, hey, he doesn't really have a chance, and, they're going to tell a different story with Jay moving forward.
Jay is so hot right now.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
You see those people when he did his interview the other night?
Yeah, on Raw, he opened up Raw.
Yeah.
He came out.
Unbelievable.
And they were like, they continued to play. They played his music a second time. He was so hot. The crowd was so into it.
Kept going. No, he's really established with the people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Magnum, what do you think?
And he's good in the ring.
Yeah, he beats Gunther.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Not even a question. He beats Gunther. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Gunther is just he's such a good heel. I mean, he'll be weathered back in the race with whoever, whatever they do. So Cena's going in the Elimination Chamber. Will he win the Elimination Chamber to have that WrestleMania moment? I don't know. I really still struggle with they've got Roman Reigns, they got McIntyre, they got these guys that are just big money ball players, just all ready to explode into something, and you don't know what. You don't know what. I mean, literally that melee with Seth Rollins stomping everybody in the stinking head and everything at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so talented and can go. It has such amazing timing. It brought me back to WrestleMania, how his involvement in that finish and everything to do with Cody and Roman was so key to setting that stage and telling that story and making that moment. And he is just always seems to know how to be in the right place at the right time. His timing is just impeccable. And I've never seen him do anything. I haven't seen him do anything on camera that hasn't looked 5-star. So again, where do you take guys like that? I mean, thank goodness that they don't have them all queued up, because you'd have to have 3 nights of WrestleMania to have enough main events to do all those guys justice.
I think it's one of the big benefactors, I think, of the Royal Rumble. What happened at the Royal Rumble was Seth Rollins, because I think, he felt like almost the odd man out when it came to maybe what you're going to do with WrestleMania, I thought. And then him like doing what he did to Roman Reigns, I'm like, I want to see Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That's what I want to see. Because it's just like the history between those two. I think Roman being such a cool anti-hero babyface now, and then Seth maybe falling into the pit of madness because he's been obsessed with Punk, and now he can turn that obsession over to Roman Reigns. and I think he's a much better heel than he is a babyface a lot of the times.
Completely.
Right.
I mean, if you go back in time when he was before he blew the knee, and they gave him those 15, 20-minute sessions, it seemed like, on the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to come in the ring and do a whole segment by himself, one-man monologue, and they were outstanding. They pushed him to the proverbial moon, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know that there's anything he can't do. So if he's healthy, you can't go wrong.
Right. You really can't.
Shoot the angle and go for the jugular, and it's going to be amazing. I mean, he did the favor for Cody so many times I can't even remember, and still came out of it just as hot as he was before he ever dropped the fall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a sign of a true pro.
Absolutely.
That. Yeah.
So I also want to get your thoughts. Logan Paul became a factor in certain ways. Like AJ Styles made his return. Logan Paul eliminates him. Logan Paul eliminates Punk too. In the Rumble. CM Punk's kind of been a factor in the mix with what you were saying, Magnum, with Rollins and Roman. But I mean, I'm kind of intrigued to see maybe Punk and Logan Paul at a Mania. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but
Logan Paul, he is a heat getter.
He is
someone you really want to see him get his ass kicked.
100%.
But he's a terrific athlete. Some of the moves that he made, and when he leaped from the ring to the table, never feet never touched. Spectacular. And the people hate him.
Oh yeah.
And he's really, for the short time he's been in, he's fantastic.
Been really
good.
I
think. I mean, for me, watching.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's ever burst on the scene and their performance. I mean, I know he had to bust at his butt, working, whether Sean worked with him, I don't know who worked with him, but somebody, invested heavily in him, and he put in the work, because you can't just be a gifted athlete and do everything that he's capable of doing. I mean, I still see vividly him and Ricochet colliding, ringside to ringside, mid-air collision, and the fact that he leans into the heel persona so naturally and doesn't seem, it has no, it doesn't secretly want to be cheered. He's in the right spot. He might be a little bit of a wise guy in real life, and it might just play real well into the super persona wise guy. But but whatever it is, it's good for the fans, and it's great that he brings this crazy, world of social media behind him. That's obviously, buzzing on everything that he does. And he said, I've listened to him in interviews, he says he's all in. He's making this his main focus, for the upcoming year, and let's see what he does. I'd love to see him have that main event WrestleMania moment, and Dagwood knock it out of the park.
Yeah. I think him and Punk could tell a hell of a story. Like the heat that Logan Paul gets and the love that CM Punk gets, and how they both are on the microphone. It's like, sign me up for that. I think I'm game for that kind of thing.
You're good for that. All we talk about is the WWE. I hope they're listening. Maybe they'll pick our podcast up.
Scoop us on up, guys.
But you know what? They've done such a great job.
Yeah, they have.
And I can't even watch the other wrestling programs.
I will be honest, and when AEW first started in 2019, me and my brother Marcus, we did a show called Two Dynamite Dudes, and all we did was talk about Dynamite. We covered it, and I went to bat for AEW a lot because I was really passionate, and I was like, an alternative product to what WWE's doing right now. And I would be critical of WWE, and I try to be critical of both when it comes to it. But, the aspect is I was invested, and they lost me. They lost me. And, now I'm critical of them. The table's almost turned in how it's been for for that. It's a shame. I wanted to see them do really well, and they had so much potential with all the stars, and they still have so much talent on there. But to what you're saying, Greg, it's a hard product to watch. And
it is. It really is. TNA, unfortunately, I can't get that, but from what I hear from other people that can watch it, that they've got a good product out there.
Yeah,
really good product. And with WWE kind of behind them or with them, it really puts them on a different level than the other programs.
Absolutely, yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah,
you need a TNA Plus, Greg. I'll try to hook you up with that. I'll send you.
I can't get it out here where we live for some
reason. You get it on your phone.
You get online. You can get online.
Yeah, you don't have to get it on your.
I don't know how to work my phone.
You got a flip phone?
I'm Mr. Technology.
Pour a little ether in the top of it and fire it off.
Okay.
I think you would like it though, Greg. You would like TNA for sure.
Well, I think I would too, because I just watching the talent that's come across. They're really done well. They're good.
Yeah. We should make a concerted effort. I will make a concerted effort to watch it too. Greg, you said you had a story. What was the story that you had?
Oh, Dom, you're going to ask me now?
Yeah.
I only have a memory, like that. I forget what the hell the story was.
You're like, oh, I got a story because you said Mr. Technology, and that's what made me remember.
Oh, I thought it was about the pay-per-view, where I watched the reruns.
Oh, okay. So that was the story. Okay.
You forgot already.
In your defense, though, Greg, I will say this. So a few weeks ago when the playoffs were going on, it was the Lions and the Vikings game. And I was like at a bar, and I was like doing work while I was at the bar, but I was like, and I saw the game was on, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I put money on it. I put money on the Lions to win. And I was like, okay, cool. The Lions are winning. They're going to cover, everything like that. They did it. I was like pumped. I was like, all right, feeling good, And here it was a re-air of the game from earlier in the season. I watched the whole game thinking it was actually the game going on. And I didn't realize till the end of the night. I was like, wait, it's tomorrow? So I've done it before too, Greg.
Yeah. I watched that from last year.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, a four-way. And then Reigns comes out there, and Orton, he was hurt. And Styles was hurt, and they're both in there. They came back just for this.
What's going on?
I'm thinking all these thoughts, and I'm like, God, what a match it was. And then I see Roman with the title. I said, well, what did I miss now? How did he get that back?
Yeah.
Maybe something happened when I was over in Hawaii and I didn't see. They made a title change.
They switched it up a lot.
And I kept saying, when is that ladder match coming on?
Well, last chance to get some questions in, guys. Eddie, I have yours earmarked, but if somebody else has some questions, be sure to get them in. Do want to cover Braun Breaker in that I Show Speed moment, him getting speared out of his shoes, basically. Holy smokes, what a moment. What did you guys think of that?
That was the kid that was standing around back that said, you go.
Triple H called him out. Yeah. He's a famous YouTube guy. I think he has a connection with Logan Paul or something, but my goodness, I've never seen anybody get speared like that before.
Well, that shows you what happens when you got a 250-pound, by God, Superman, running Mach 7, hit somebody that weighs $150. It's like,
and with his dad there watching, he's not going to hold up for anything.
No, his dad was like front row. You're right, Greg.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Holy smokes. Yeah, crazy moment for sure. Greg, we talked about this last week, me and Magnum, but did want to get your thoughts, especially now that we see the Royal Rumble. Another guy that stood out was Jacob Fatu.
Oh, God. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is something else.
Yeah.
I love watching him.
He's
I just hope they don't hurt him because they turned him loose, and he's an awesome competitor.
Yeah.
Great personality for that. And he is so believable in the ring and what he does. I wouldn't want to take any of those shots from him.
No way.
TA would, but I'd
yeah.
Well, he fits very well into that era back, the Barbarian and Haku and those guys, those big daggone Samoans.
Yeah.
He's right out of that deal, and those guys are just different animals.
Mm-hmm.
They look, and when they can work and move and talk like he does, I mean, he's got, he's a triple threat. So, I'm sure they got some big plans for him.
Yeah.
In
that
25.
number he did on what's the big guy?
Braun Strowman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. And then he left the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and he thought it was over. He came flying back. I mean, I haven't seen one like that in a long time. It was a great, great angle.
What do you think of Braun coming back then and eliminating Fatu after the fact?
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know about that.
I didn't either.
That felt a little weird to me, I thought. Hey, so weird moment too. We'll take some questions here. Somebody that asked this question, I want to get your thoughts, guys, on this. D'Angelo, Drew McIntyre was mad about LA Knight being in the way. Does Gagne or Magnum have an experience like that? So I'll explain if you guys are unaware. There's reports that Drew McIntyre was a little upset after the match because somebody got a lot of their shit in, quote unquote, and took a lot of the spotlight. And if you go back and watch the footage, you'll see that LA Knight and Logan Paul were kind of in the center of the ring there.
Oh, yeah.
LA Knight was like working with them. And then Damian Priest, there was a moment. So Damian Priest eliminates Drew McIntyre. Big storytelling moment there. And those guys were in the way. And so the reports are that Drew was upset about it. Cooler heads prevailed about it. But a lot of other people seem to be a little bit upset about that. If you guys kind of ran into an instance where, like, hey, you kind of took away from the moment of what we're trying to do here.
I think it's funny because
yeah, I do too.
With it, they've got everything like the dance, like so laid out, and they do some remarkable things, and they're able to do some remarkable storytelling. But like that was never ever a thought. You might have some spots, but to have everybody in that ring on the same sheet of music at the same time to zig and zag and whatever. We were lucky we went out in the right order. Much less did everybody get their stuff in. I mean, it's like I think they're so used to making movies, and everybody the plot all being so good, and the drama and the anticipation. Oh gosh, this happened here because of that. I'm sure in the emotion of it and in the execution of it, it probably is very disappointing to somebody that's passionate about what they're doing, because they want everything to mean something. And particularly, of course, personally, if your character, the one that got slighted or didn't get the same time. But frankly, it's amazing they pull all of that off. You think about that this whole thing goes on for an hour, and they got all these people interjected in and out, and all the things that went along with that. I mean, producing that match in today's stylization, I can't imagine how much work they put in that.
Yeah, I know it's an intricate process. It comes to that kind of stuff. I know for sure. Greg, do you have any thoughts on that?
I just think I don't think Drew was personally hurt by it. I think he just sold it good.
Yeah,
to open up conversations like we're having.
Yeah, yeah.
And now everybody's going, well, what's going to happen with Drew? He's really mad. Well, they're buying it. So they can really kind of go anywhere with it now with that group.
It's a great perspective too. Yeah, Drew's been very good at blurring the lines throughout this stuff. So he's that's definitely his MO a lot of the time. So it'll be interesting. I know too, just from the outsider perspective, like when I saw Battle Royal get laid out backstage at a show, it was like they would take those moments. Okay, make sure you clear out of the center because this moment's going to happen at this point. But that was only with 15 people. That's not with 30 people getting involved and everything like that. So it's just a different kind of thing. There's moments that, okay, a wrestler is aware that you got to be in the corner, you got to be out of the way, but at the same time,
we never laid anything out.
No, hey, there you go.
Did you, TA?
Did what?
For like Battle Royal stuff?
Wake him up.
I just knew when I was supposed to go out, and outside of that, some of my funny moments when I was in Florida Championship Wrestling, when Bruiser and Stan came in, everybody was terrified of them, and I knew Brody from Texas, and we had become like buds, and I didn't look at him like this big crazy person like everybody else did. And here I'm the newbie. I'm the guy who's been in the business a year, and they won't let anybody throw him out of the ring but me. He says, he comes up to me, he says, "Toss me out here, kid." I said, "Okay." And that's in the same building that he took Lex Luger around and gave him a lesson in humility. So, I mean, it just is your attitude and your outlook and everything is so important with the people you work with in the business in general. And it's not just being the toughest guy or being the funniest guy or whatever. It's just being somebody that can appreciate the differences in all these crazy characters and people that make up this world of wrestling. And you've got to be a unique character to find your way through all that. There's been a lot of people that have, had some great success and could have been even more successful if they could figure out how to navigate, the real ins and outs of what goes on. Because as much of a work as it is inside the ring, there's a lot of times the work outside the ring was equally, or if not more important to your success.
Yeah.
Because people can either make you look great, or they can not put out quite so much effort to shine you, and it will eventually hurt your career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's better to embrace the adventure and give it all you got and try not to ruffle everybody's feathers.
And sometimes too, the stories and the elements and the drama that goes on behind the scenes is more entertaining than the drama in front of on the screen sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It just more stuff than they would ever be able to tell on the dark side of the ring or any, it's like, weren't they kind of doing that with the territories when they did that little series? And
these are the territories or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they can do a whole lot more of that because there's just a lot more entertaining things to share than people probably really enjoy.
They should definitely do that, I think, again, too. All right, we'll close it out with this question here from Eddie. This ties back to Jacob Fatu. He says, question for Greg and Magnum. Do you believe that Jacob Fatu will end up being the GOAT in his family by the time his career winds down? Mm-hmm. Think he could surpass Roman Reigns? Could he surpass The Rock? That's a big family there.
I don't think so.
It's a tough one.
There's so many great talents in that family. Mm-hmm. You got Roman Reigns. You got God.
Oh, you got
Yokozuna. The Rock guy.
The Rock.
That's
what I'm trying to think of. The Rock.
Umaga is another one too.
Yeah, they've had so many in there that were so great. I don't see him getting to the level of The Rock or Roman Reigns.
It's kind of
but he's going to be a tremendous draw.
Absolutely, yeah.
Without a doubt. And you got to put him up there in that category of,
And he's got to have the years.
The top people, but I don't think
you can 10 years.
Yeah. He's got to have the years in there too, I think. And I think it's almost unfair to put them in the I know they're a family, but it's like to say one's a GOAT and everything. Like The Rock's on a whole nother level because he became one of the biggest movie stars you would ever see. So, and then on top of it, Roman's got a great look. Like he looks like a movie star and everything like that. He handles himself. And Jacob Fatu's just this wild monster heel, or can be a babyface at some point, but it's just his own elite. So I kind of think it's almost unfair to compare. It's apples to oranges in a lot of ways, even though they're the same family,
Yep.
So,
but more of a homage to Alpha and Sika.
Yeah, absolutely.
A modern version of them.
Yes. 100%. And then you think about Jey Uso too, and what he could do here coming up. So
exactly. Look at the way that people are responding to him.
Right. Dog Pound just gives a shout out. So glad you have Magnum TA on this show. One of the greatest talented wrestlers in the world. To me, he is the GOAT. How about that, Magnum?
We sent that over Courtney.
No. That's Courtney just completely just labels herself as Magnum's wife on here. So I don't think that was her. Somebody else gave you a little shout out too, Greg. Long Beach Hippie. When I started watching wrestling, it was AWA, Kurt Hennig versus Greg Gagne, Road Warriors, Baron Von Raschke, etc. Good old days of wrestling. So good day.
There's some great talent. We always had really like the Crockett's did, that in the AWA and the Crockett organization. I think they had probably the inner Florida.
Yeah,
that's where the best talent really came from.
Yeah,
don't you think so, TA?
I do. Eddie's Graham's influence on wrestling. I mean, he basically helped create Bill Watts into the guy, the promoter that he became, and he just everything he touched. He was just, to me, he was just the best teacher of the philosophy of the business and psychology and things that seemed so logical listening to him explain them.
Yeah.
And it taught me things that I remember to this day. And when you relay it to people, in a modern forum, they think, "Oh my gosh, that's just that's amazing." Well, no, that's just the way it was. That's what you did. These were table stakes. These were things you did every time you stepped in the ring to paint the picture, tell the story, reestablish who you are, why you are who you are, and then work your angle and do your deal. And it was a cookie cutter, keep it simple, stupid thing that worked. And the same philosophies work today, though they
still works today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still works.
Yeah, 100%. We have some other good questions here, but I will be sure to screenshot those and save them for next week. So we have some good ammo next week here too coming on. As far as anything else goes, guys, if you like what you're seeing, like I said earlier in the show, if you're tuning in to OneTrueSportTV.com or FourHorsemenNetwork.com, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and get the word out about this show a little bit too. We're also available on podcasts. Just yesterday, I posted last week's episode on the podcast feed. You can check it out. Go to Four Horsemen Network on your podcast feed of choice. This show pops up, and so does Arn Anderson's show. So we're both on the same feed there. So be sure to subscribe, give us 5 stars, and share out what you think about the show. As far as anything else goes, be sure to check out Powertown if you want to check out, bookmark that page for further updates and stuff like that. Magnum, look at this. Look at this. It is the Rem. Yay. Oh, man. Badass. Look at that.
And just so y'all know,
that's Sid Vicious.
I had one upset fellow on the hit me up on Instagram or something. So at least you got yours. Well, we had 2 sets flown in. One for Steve, my partner, and myself, and basically so we could do a quality check and make sure everything was what it's supposed to be. But they are all en route, and good Lord willing, they'll all be delivered to the people that have been so patiently waiting here towards the end of the month, and they're coming. And the thing has come. These have come out so good. I really couldn't imagine anything being on a par with the ultras, but the head sculpts on these came out phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. All of them, Ricky and Robert and just the whole gang. The missing link. If you didn't get a missing link, that is probably one of the coolest Remcos of all time.
Yeah, awesome stuff. It looks great. They look beautiful. The packaging looks awesome too. So it's a really well-produced product, and it'll come that moment where you guys will get those here soon enough. So
now I know most of our fans that watch this are all, present day wrestling. Yes. But if any of them go back to the 50s and tell us who they would like to see as an action figure.
There you go. Yeah.
Hard-boiled Haggerty, Yukon Eric, Don Leo Jonathan, Wilbur Snyder, Dick the Bruiser, the Crusher. Tell us who you would like to see come out on an action figure. We've got them all signed.
There we go. Yeah, we'll make a little post here too on the channel too to kind of get a poll going maybe and
start a petition. And if you get 1,000 signatures for any one person, that would be a real strong indicator of somebody that we need to move to the front of the line.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Here's a quick one, because people don't know the guys from the 50s that built this. Hardboiled Haggerty. Not only did he wrestle, he starred in Paint Your Wagon.
Oh, really?
You know that? No, he was the
That's a movie.
blacksmith there.
That's a movie from back in the day.
Yeah, I remember Clint Eastwood's in it. It's a musical, right?
Yeah.
Singing.
he was
Clint Eastwood was singing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So we were gonna.
And I went to see it
when
in
I
the
was
movie
thinking,
theater.
and I talked to his family. Maybe we should put him in the outfit that he wore in Paint Your Wagon, and he had a pipe. Yeah, he had a big part in there too.
How about that?
He had a couple movies he had big parts in. And Don Leo Jonathan was the first big man. 6'7", 280 pounds, and he was doing flying head scissors and drop kicks. He was an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah.
Those are the people we're trying to recognize. In the Power Town, the people that built this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people out there watching, get out your history books and look back and see what you think about some of these people.
That's it. You got to take a gander and weigh in. Definitely voice your opinion too if you want to see an old school legend like that in the mix here too. So
I was very fortunate to get a partner on board like TA.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
Magnum, did you see Paint Your Wagon in theaters?
He's working his butt
Yeah,
off.
I went to see Paint Your Wagon in the theater with my mom and dad, and remember it vividly. So,
that was a great movie.
I was a kid. Now Greg was already, probably a quarterback in college. But when I was
probably past that. I'm a lot older than you.
Well, it's just 10 years, but 10 years back then seemed like a long time.
Well, guys, yes, if you want to support Greg and Magnum as well, you can get some good merchandise we have available too.
I'm going to ask TA about that merchandise. TA, the posters I sent you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I've got it put in a safe place until I get it framed.
That's me too.
God.
That's what I.
But
I was thinking, Vernal, he signed 50 before he passed away. And I think maybe we got 20, 25 left that were signed. But I have a couple hundred more of them without the signature on it. Ooh. Plus the poster from the AWA, when the AWA, came in along with the NWA, the history of it.
Yeah, the history of the champions you have on there. Yeah.
Right. Maybe we should try to open up sell some here.
Yeah, we could try to do that.
I think we should do a raffle for one of those signed ones of your dad is what I think we should do.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to talk about that because that would be very cool. Very cool thing for somebody to have, and it's not something they can run out and just buy somewhere.
Absolutely.
Right.
That would be special.
That'd definitely be big time.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked them.
Yes, great stuff.
Yeah,
Greg.
love it. Absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. Guys, and if you guys want to help support the show, get some merchandise. We got a Greg Gagne hoodie, High Flyer, both in dark blue and in black. You can get a Greg Gagne mug and plus plenty of other merch. You can scan that QR code or go to 1tsport.com and get your own, like Magnum TA, a hoodie too, with the classic logo. You got the Boss mug coming up here too. And there's some T-shirts. We got some more merch I've got rolling around in the noggin I want to make for these guys too. So we'll get that cooking as well. So 1tsport.com and get some merch going. But
it's good to be back.
Good to be back, Greg. Good to have you back. I'm happy Cody and Punk gave you a shout out. Hopefully we'll get some more with you and Magnum on there. Hey, we'll get in the WWE ecoscape one way or another, I think.
Good enough.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I did shot some of your questions, so thank you for chiming in. We'll get to those next week. And thanks for the support. And we'll see you next time here on Straight Talk with the Boss. That's Magnum TA, and then that's Greg Gagne. See you next time, guys.
And that's Tom.
And that's me.
You can find him on Instagram anywhere.
Instagram, all